Sounds like when we get these, cast of directors coming through the show, it kind of sounds like they're already getting theirs from the Gov. Like, with DOC, oh, she's going to cover a 2 million shortfall. Uncle Carl's getting 20 off the top. Right. So I don't know how much of this money is going to be left, minus 300 million for this hospital deal. I don't know how much is going to be left for them to decide how to be spent, but we'll see. Wishing for the best. Not really. I'm not an optimist. 908. Good morning. Let's head into the Zoom room where Dr. Juan Flores is standing by. Catholic School Superintendent. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, good morning. It's been a while.
I know. I missed you. How you doing?
I'm good. Pretty busy, not bored.
Good for you.
Yeah, getting a lot of stuff done. So
let's get
definitely
into
spending money.
Let's get
trying
into
to spend money.
That's good. Right on. I like spending money.
Especially if it's not mine.
Exactly. Amen. So what are you spending money on, and what kind of money are you spending?
Well, we were allocated $11.1 million from the Education Stabilization Fund, the second one. So we are trying to set up requisitions for at least half of that by the end of this month, which is a challenge, but we're working on it. All of those items, of course, are to ensure safety in the schools, to address social and emotional learning, and then to address any support for academic acceleration in the schools.
How'd that work? Juan, did you just get 11 million in you guys' bank account, or what's the process?
No, I got a couple of suitcases. And so they are in 50s, they're multiples of 50s, so that if somehow some of those 50s slip and I put it into envelopes for Tintuli, well, those things happen.
Almsgiving.
But yeah, suitcases, and they're the big suitcases, not the little carry-on suitcases.
Right on. The ones in the movies. And what are you, Juan, I know you're kidding, but what are you able to spend this money on? Does it have to be strictly like COVID related? Not really, right?
It does, but
it does.
It does, but in those three areas that I mentioned. So we're making sure that the schools will remain safe, right? Clean and safe. And so we had all of the schools disinfected once in the last year. So we're going to ask for professional disinfection 4 times a year, just to make sure that we do, I guess, deep disinfection. We're getting things like instructional design centers so that the teachers in the schools can start creating their own videos, their own learning videos, or their own materials that they can be using either in the classroom or if they have to continue distance learning. We're getting things like replacing those air conditioners that are not working effectively, so they're not providing proper ventilation in the classrooms. Things like that. So we have about 50 items that we're trying to procure. Some more sneeze guards, although the schools are now getting them. The high schools have gotten the ones for the cafeteria, elementary schools have gotten them for the student desks. So I'm looking at the list actually as we speak, and sometimes it gets overwhelming, but fortunately vendors are really supportive and are getting us quotations when we need them. One of the things that's going to cost, it's a big chunk of money, is for us to get e-textbooks, so we don't have kids bringing textbooks to and from home, which could be a source of transmitting the virus. So we're going to get e-textbooks for all the elementary and high schools. Yeah, so we got creative. I don't know if the whole government of Guam wants to follow our process, and maybe DOE has done the same thing, but we had all the schools pretty much come up with wish lists. They were scrutinized and then approved by Federal Programs Office, which has given us a lot of guidance. And then the schools determine what they're actually going to get based on their allocations. So all the allocations are based on enrollment.
Juan, I ran into GDOE board chair Mark, or vice chair. He's the vice. What is Mark, man? I'm sorry. Anyway, education board member Mark Mendiola.
He was finance committee before.
He was the finance committee. Frick, Mark. Sorry, man. But he was saying that part of the problem they're having on the public school side is that everybody in the world is trying to buy the sneeze guards and the PPEs and the whatnot. Are you running into any like issues, wait listing or anything, and trying to procure some of these items?
We are running into some of that. I think that one of the issues though is federal programs is pushing us to meet a certain deadline
Mm.
so that we can get these out, these requisitions done as soon as possible. And then hopefully the procurement process will be followed up with as soon as possible so that, I mean, my hope is that even if we consider delays in shipping and handling, most of these things now will be in place by the time we open school in August. But that's what we hopefully will benefit from.
And then facilities up. So you are doing some upgrades. Are you doing like the restrooms up too, one?
Yeah, so one of the things, when kids touch the faucets or the flushes for the toilets, that's a way of transmitting the virus because you can't come in and sanitize after every kid, right?
Yeah.
After every child. So we actually have put in for the mechanisms for touchless faucets, touchless toilets, and touchless urinals if the schools have chosen to get those. And the installation of those items.
Let's talk graduation. FD's
I did
graduation.
graduate from high school.
Good for you.
I have verification that I did graduate from high school.
May
Was that what
5.
you were wondering about?
Yeah. What are the protocols there for the graduation of? Is I know FD's doing it May 5th. Academy.
I don't remember the dates, Chris, but here's what happened last week. Department of Public Health and Social Services issued a guidance saying that all graduation ceremonies for high schools and institutions of higher education would be outdoors, would be only outdoors. So we met with them on Monday. We had a great meeting with them. And I think the major issue they brought up was that they could not fathom the number of graduates being able to fit into facilities with any guests and also observe social distancing. So what we let them know is that our number of graduates can fit. I mean, there's a design at Father Duenas that it can accommodate the FD, Notre Dame, and Academy graduates with maybe 2 or 3 guests in areas where they would be separated. Since they all live in one household, they would be separated from each other by 6 feet. And most of the K-8 schools can do the same thing. Dominican Catholic has 18 students graduating from the 8th grade, and they have a gym that normally can fit 1,000 people. So what we did was we promised Art St. Augustine and the environmental health staff, we're finishing them up today, that we'll get them updated protocols for each of those events. We're sending them layouts of what the facilities will look like. And all but one school is actually going to try to have indoor graduations or indoor end of the year ceremonies, either in a gym or a church. And again, except for one school, they will be all indoors. They're trying to get them indoors. So hopefully we'll get the okay from public health that the first one is Father Duenas on May 5th. And so the timeliness of their decision is really critical.
Hey, there was a letter that I got a message here that went out to FD parents and something about Archbishop placing you in charge of FD's finances. Are you able to comment on that?
I'll comment a little bit. We are trying to support the school. I think the financial management of any school is pretty challenging, and FD is no exception. So we're just trying to come in and support the school. I want the principal to focus on finishing up the school year, getting the guys ready for graduation, ironing out any issues with athletics. And so I'm just helping him out in trying to oversee the financial management. At the same time, we're looking at what processes in the financial management office at FD would be more effective and more efficient. So that's what's behind that. And it's a way to support, You know, for the other two high schools, they have a different organizational structure where the principal actually is supported by a president
Mm.
who takes care of finances, takes care of external matters. That's not true at FD right now. So I'm just trying to help in putting things in order so that things going forward would be better.
Right on. Juan, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you maybe next week, the week after, or something. Or if something pops up, let
Okay.
us know. Okay, we'll see you. There you go.
Thanks.
Catholic School Superintendent Dr. Juan Flores, 918. Quick break, and we are back with environmental health